This is how you're going to make 2025 your best year yet. You have to learn how to master the game of reality. Reality is existence, and existence is who we are. We exist on three separate planes: the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. I'm going to break down all three in this video so that way you'll never stay stuck in the same loop ever again. Cheers to 2025. Let's go. You may be wondering why we have three planes. It is because we exist physically, mentally, and spiritually. Another way to say that is body, mind, and spirit. You might have heard it as Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Allah, Prophet, Quran. You might have heard Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, earth, sky, water, love, light, peace. You get the idea. All three planes make up our existence. And so, without understanding all three and how they play a part in your reality, you'll never understand why you are not yet in your desired reality. All right, so let's start with physical plane, which is what most people think is all there is. And yeah, it's where we spend most of our time, right? You know, reality, the stuff you can see, touch, taste, and smell. But here's the tea: it's just an illusion. That's right. Your reality is nothing more than a movie set. You're just an actor walking around, and everything that you see, hear, or feel is just a projection of your mind. And when you start to really understand that your life is actually just a movie, it changes entirely how you view the world. Once you really understand this concept, I promise you will never take anything so seriously anymore. And how do I know this? Is because it happened to me. And once I realized that I was just a character playing in a game, I started to see everything completely different. And what I mean by different is I started to see everything more childlike. Think about when you see children, they are so carefree and they truly, truly just live in the moment. Now, I'm not saying dismiss your responsibilities as an adult and just stop paying your bills and things like that. What I'm saying is that everything can become a positive experience if you allow it to, even if it is what you would consider a negative or a not desired experience. You can always take something positive away from every single interaction that you have. I need you to understand how important this is because this took me forever to learn. And this key piece of information changed the entire game for me. The second part to the physical plane, also known as the illusion, is that whatever shows up in your life is actually something you had already manifested. Now, I know a lot of you are going to say, well, I didn't manifest a ticket, I didn't manifest this traffic, and so on and so forth. And I know this is going to be really hard to believe, but yes, you did. Going back to what I said earlier about how you could take something positive away from every what you would consider negative interaction. What if the reason why you were in traffic is because that traffic held you up so that the accident down the road was not going to hit you? What you consider to be a negative thing very much may be your blessing. Every single day and every single moment, you are always co creating with the universe. And believe it or not, you're always guided and always protected. Sometimes you'll be driving down the street and all of a sudden you'll get like this nudge that says, go this way, make a left here, make a right there. That is your higher self, angels, guides, God, whatever you want to call it, helping you on your journey. Now, let's talk about the mental plane, which is also known as the realm of infinite possibilities. This is where you've been all your life, whether you realize it or not. And this is actually where the real magic happens. Have you ever been in one of those moments where you're just chilling, doing your thing, and then, like, out of nowhere, an idea just hits you like lightning? That, my friend, is the mental plane working its magic. It's the vast realm of thought, possibility, where basically anything can happen, and that time does not exist. There are no deadlines, they are just what they are. Think about it like this: every single idea, invention, and breakthrough ever conceived in the history of humanity has existed first on the mental plane. For example, Steve Jobs, he created the iPhone. He had to actually think about it before it came into reality. Or like the idea of time travel. Even before it existed in movies, someone had to imagine it. Every single physical thing started off with a thought. And let me tell you, this space is absolutely limitless, meaning time here doesn't even apply. All the thoughts, past, present, future, coexist simultaneously. Think of this space kind of like a massive library with all possible thoughts and ideas just waiting to be birthed into physical reality. And you, as a person, as an existence, as spirit, can just go in there and access it. Now, this is the part where most people get tripped up. It's nothing more than taking one of those ideas from the library, from the mental plane, and solidifying it into the physical world. When you think of something, it's not yet tangible, but once you begin to focus and believe, it takes shape. Water transforming into steam and then ice. It's just a change in vibration. Thought is just energy in its purest form, and once it vibrates enough, it becomes something. Now, let's get onto the spiritual plane, also known as the cosmic connection. This is the juicy stuff, where things get real deep. The spiritual plane is where your true self exists: your soul, your spirit, your astral body. It's what connects you to the universe, to the divine, to everything and everyone around you. It's not just about what's going on in the physical world or even in the mental one. This spiritual plane is where you tap into the infinite power of the universe. I think the reason why we don't talk about this as much when we are trying to manifest or get into our desired reality is because it's not necessarily tangible, right? Because it's stuff that you can't see, it's only stuff that you can actually feel. Think about this plane like Wi Fi. We can't see it, but we know it works and we're able to connect different devices to it. So your spirit is like the device and the universe is like the network. When you're tapped into the spiritual plane, you have plugged yourself in to the universal source. This is where the magic comes in. The truth is, everything around you, your friends, strangers, even your enemies, are all just reflections of you and your inner world. You are not separate from the world, you're actually one with it. Think about it like the ocean. As a whole, it's just a body of water. But if you break it down, it's actually millions of droplets of water. And together, we all move collectively, just like the ocean has waves. This is your connection to everything. It is also the part of you that never dies. Your physical body, yeah, it gets tired and it needs rest, but your spirit, it actually doesn't sleep. That's why when you go to bed, you dream. Your spirit actually leaves your body and goes off in its own little cosmic adventure. And your dreams, they're kind of like your spirit's way of recharging and tapping into higher frequencies. This is also why people who are quote unquote awake on a spiritual level can feel more alive because they're constantly plugged into that divine energy. And once you recognize that energy within you, you'll start to see the world bending to your will. All right, so now that you know all three, how do you break out of this trap? Let's break this down a little bit further. You first need to identify where you feel stuck in. For some people, it is that they have the hustle mentality. You know, the people that are always running around, always doing something and can never relax. And no matter how hard they hustle, they're always stuck in this rat race. Or are you the wishful thinker? You know, the one who talks about manifesting all day but never take any real action. They are basically on the other side of the spectrum where they don't do anything. They think by just thinking about their desired reality, it's going to come into existence. But that is not how it works. Why? Because we live on a physical plane and we also need to do physical things. And for these people, because they just think all day, they stay stagnant. And that's also a trap. And last but not least, let's not forget about the people who pray all day and sit on their couch doing absolutely nothing. These are the people who live by the word faith. I'm not saying that it's not important, but if you think by sitting on your couch all day is going to be your answer because you believe in faith, it's definitely time for a reality check. Sometimes the biggest thing that you just need to do to get yourself out of this loop is just to be honest with yourself. The faster you are honest with yourself, the faster you will be able to get into your desired reality. So, if you have been in any of these traps, it's now time to break free. You've got to be able to first understand all three planes. Without one, you cannot have the other. Think about this like a symphony. You must use each instrument in a certain way to be able to create a harmonious sound. So, number one, start with the spiritual plane. This is where deep, deep work begins. Realize and internalize that God, source, energy, the universe, Allah, whatever you want to call it, is within you. When you recognize that, you are part of something much bigger than your physical body, and you'll be able to shift into a new vibration. Not only will you just be a player in the game, you'll also realize that you're actually the one who wrote the rules. And that is internal power. And internal power is what starts to bend your reality. Number two, move to the mental plane. Now that you're vibing with the universe, get your mind on the same wavelength. Like, picture yourself already in your desired reality. What does this person do on a daily basis? How do they act? What kind of thoughts do they have? Think about this part from the end result. When you start to really understand this, the mental plane actually starts to work for you and your thoughts begin shaping your reality. And finally, number three, act in the physical plane. Once your spirit and mind are aligned, the physical actions become effortless. You won't have to force anything. It's like getting into the gym groove. At first, it's a struggle, but once you're mentally there, working out becomes second nature. In fact, you look forward to going to the gym. The actions that you take will just feel right. It will be perfect alignment with your desires that you have already manifested in your spirit and mind. Until next time, much love.